Hello and welcome back everyone. It's time for another review of My Hero Academia, and what I really want to talk about in this chapter is actually Togata, of course, because we did see a lot new Togata information. Like we did get to see his new weaknesses. Like we knew he had his weakness where his quirk was really, in a rough place at one point, but we didn't really know that that was an actual of his weaknesses. But it turns out that it was, and we also learned that he actually learned how to control his weaknesses, how to accept them pretty much. They shouldn't be, hidden. He wanted to really, bring it out, I guess, and because he brought it out, we also got to see him kick some serious ass in this chapter, and we see him, well, obviously, at the beginning, we see how he's overcome by these two quirks. Like, we see him, I can't remember their names to be honest, but the one who controlled the sort of sense of balance of Togata, because that alone kind of tipped him, off guard, because he didn't really know what to expect from these people's quirks. And then we have this other guy whose quirk is to make people tell them what they want to know, pretty much to answer their question. And what's interesting about that is actually when we see, in I think it was the last chapter when Toga and Twice was forced to talk. Like they asked actually if they asked if Shigaraki had any plans on betraying them, and they actually answered no. So clearly, either they don't know about it, or Shigaraki literally has no intentions of betraying this. However, Togata then, because his attack, the way he attacked them was very interesting. Very interesting. We see this move called Phantom Menace. I'm totally not gonna bring up the Star Wars reference there. Anyway, so yeah, he pretty much, well, it's not just pretty much, he literally one-shots these guys pretty much, and pretty much one kick to them and they're fucking done. Because I think the attack we see is actually the same attack being repeated instead of it being two different attacks. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's how I interpreted this. And then we see how he pretty much zooms just across the hallway and just obliterates chronostasis. And this is something that I really like, because we see how his foot goes through Ares' head. Like, you expect that his whole foot has to go through Ares' head before we actually get to see some kind of, I guess, materialization. Like, but his foot seems to be making contact with Chronostasis' head, while part of the foot is still going through Ares' head, which is fucking beast, okay? That move was sick. So right now, I like Togata a lot more than I did before, because for those who watch my content, I'm not really that much into Togata as much as I am to Tomaki. Now, however, I might change my mind. I wouldn't say it's above Tamaki, but I really like Togata a lot more now than I did before. And yeah, I think the reason is very straightforward. He really made an impact in this chapter, because we obviously see, as I said, his weakness was said to be his quirk, and we also learned that he learned how to not hide it and bring it out and make it into something better, because he improved that by simply embracing it pretty much. And that's something that I kind of expected that to be the case, because we did know that he had some quirk issues in the past, as we saw how he was trying to phase through walls and it only made it halfway through and things like that. But in this chapter, no. We see how he goes, we pretty much see how he managed to learn this. Not like step by step, but as I said, he explains it, although it's all explained to us pretty much. And that is something that I really like. So next chapter we're probably going to see him try to escape, because we have to remember the mission that they're on is to rescue Eri, not to fight Overhaul. And it looks like he will just be taking Eri and get the fuck out of there. And I really think I do think that's a good way to go about it, because you have to stick to the plan. You can't just stray just because of personal reasons. I mean, we remember what happened when Ida did that with Stain. He almost got himself killed. And yeah, if Deku and Todoroki hadn't made it there, Ida would have been dead. So who knows what would happen to Togata if he just went to attack Overhaul, right? So I think taking Eri and just, leaving the place, rendezvousing with the others, that's the best course of action that he could really take in this chapter and, in the next chapter. So I do hope we see him try to get out of there, but I also think that we're gonna see either some other expendable, like one that he's already defeated, Chronostasis, or Overhaul himself. I mean, someone is going to try to stop him, right? They're not just gonna let him take Eri and go, because we saw how Overhaul was pretty calm, so I think he has a plan, yes, in case they were able to do this. I don't know what it is, of course, nobody does, but I have a feeling it's pretty big. I mean, Overhaul's quirk is deadly, and because it's deadly, you gotta be careful. I mean, he can't just be careless when taking Eri back. He has to keep an eye open in every direction, because we don't know what kind of plan or trap Chisaki might have for Togata and Eri, because, I mean, he's not gonna try to kill Eri, that would be the stupidest move, but he might be able to try and sort of, trap Togata so that Overhaul can catch up and make it there in time to have a proper fight, or just simply take Eri away, because he might have plans, well, I guess tactics that could defeat Togata, and we did see that some tactics did seem to work against Togata, like this Dead Drunk, I believe it was called, which one of the expendables had, which pretty much just completely took Togata off guard. And yeah, I mean, it's more psychological thing, I guess you could call it, because it mostly affects the mind. It makes him feel dizzy and shit like that. So, and we also saw how not the last chapter, but like a few chapters back, we saw how Rappa was actually defeated by Overhaul a few times. And if you remember how fast and powerful Rappa was, it's very disturbing to see that Overhaul could actually defeat him 5 times in a row. Like, he wouldn't just blow into bits, He wouldn't have time to do that against Rappa's attacks. He needs to have some sick ability to maneuver and things like that, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen now. I think Overhaul is going to show his true colors when it comes to fighting. He's going to give it all that he has in order to retrieve Eri back, and I don't think Togata can do this alone. I think he will need help, and we might be seeing Deku actually reaching him, because Deku is the main character, and I do really believe that seeing him join this sort of end game would be something that we will see. And as we know, the arcs in My Hero Academia are not that long, and this arc has been going on for a really long time now, so I think it's going to wrap up pretty soon. Unfortunately, it's my favorite arc so far, and yeah, but I really do think this arc is about to end, and I do hope we get to see more Togata in the future, and obviously Tamaki and the others too, especially Nejire, because we haven't seen her fight yet, which I really want to do. Well, we've seen her take on 2 big villains, not exactly what I would call screen time, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say. So with that said, I'll be ending the video here. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and as always, if you did, please like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. This has been your favorite host, Perm, and I'll see you soon.